Hi guys, today is February 26th and I wanted to take a couple of minutes just to record a quick intro to my breastfeeding journey video. So I made and recorded the video a couple of weeks ago, but I haven't uploaded it yet because I was just a little bit nervous that it was maybe too much information. But after talking with a couple of friends and also, watching other YouTubers, I've gained a little bit more confidence and so definitely wanted to upload it. I hope it's helpful for any mamas out there. And I just hope it reiterates that breastfeeding is beautiful, but it's not easy, but it can be done. Um, just, I hope it's helpful and here we go. Hi guys, so this is my fifth YouTube video and I want to do a real quick video around my breastfeeding journey. And so there are a lot of things that I didn't realize before I had a baby and that I learned after I had a baby and started breastfeeding. And so I just thought it would be helpful. And again, I wanted to have just a video that I could share later with Penny. So Penny, if you're watching this 15, 20 years later, I just want you to know what Amma went through while she was breastfeeding, and then also how it's really special because we're both kind of teaching each other and learning how to do this together. So when Penny was born, when our baby was born, we first in the hospital, so they kind of teach you how to breastfeed. And I didn't take a breastfeeding class before we had the baby. I watched some YouTube videos, did some research online, and I thought, a lot of the videos and the research out there, they talk about how breastfeeding is natural. The baby knows how to do it. And, there's some tips on how to do the latch right and things like that. But I thought, overall, okay, I'll be able to do this. And a lot of the things that you see on TV and things like that is sort of this beautiful experience with breastfeeding. There's a lot of sunlight, the baby's happy and content, mama's looking down at the baby smiling. So, I thought this would be sort of a piece of cake. There would be some trials along the road, but I thought I would know how to do this like any woman. Not the case. So what happened in the beginning was I wasn't doing the latch right. So my right side, so my left side, I actually have an inverted nipple. And so I was mainly trying to breastfeed on my right side. I wasn't doing the latch right. And so, even at the hospital, it started bruising. And because of that, it was so painful. And so the lactation consultant and the nurses at the hospital, just because also the baby's weight declined around 10%, which I think is around normal. Baby does lose weight after they're born. Babies do lose weight after they're born. And so they suggested supplementing with formula because I was in so much pain. And so I was like, okay, that's fine. I'm not above formula. And so we started doing that for the first week after I was home. And meanwhile, the right side was in so much pain. That first week, it actually got to the point where I was bleeding. It was really bad, really like toe curling, painful experience. And meanwhile, the left side, I just didn't know what to do because my nipple was inverted. And so I called a lactation consultant and she was great. She helped me, just helped the right side, helped me with the latch on the right side. And so she gave me some suggestions on what to use. So I got this cream from the hospital. They gave this to me. It's the Medela lanolin cream. And then I also had Earth Mama nipple cream that I put on my registry. Saw some good reviews around that. And then my lactation consultant and actually also the nurses in the hospital had recommended using this salt water or saline solution. And so I did a little bit of that. So you essentially soak your nipple in the salt water for about 3 to 5 minutes after you've breastfed. I would say I did all of this, and this is throughout my breastfeeding journey. Nothing really helped, I felt like. I just feel like it takes time for these things to heal. Just like when you get a cut, it just takes time to heal. You can put some cream on it, that might help. But it took definitely a couple weeks for my right side to heal. Meanwhile, on my left side, so my lactation consultant that visited our house, so she actually gave me a nipple shield to use on the left side. So this is Medela again. So I actually had these on my registry as well. I had the Lancino brand though, but it wasn't working. Like, so it would always fall off. And so she actually showed me how to use it. So basically, you kind of push the pointy side in and make it like sort of that, this pointy side goes in, and then you put this on your nipple, and then allow the nipple to kind of go in this hole, and then you push it out, and then it won't fall out as much. So this was actually great. And immediately my baby started latching on to the left side after using this and breastfeeding. So that was amazing. So that was the good thing about the nipple shield. However, the bad thing is once the baby starts using it, you have to use it every single time. Essentially, you're breastfeeding, right? And you're breastfeeding like 8 to 10 times a day in the beginning. And every single time after you feed, you have to clean it. And so it got really annoying. And then my other thought was, well, how am I gonna use this when I wanna go outside and breastfeed? How am I gonna fumble and try to do this, under my shirt? And, how am I gonna wash it outside as well? And so then I was like, okay, we gotta wean her. I wanted to wean her off of it. And so that's the first thing that I tried to do. So in the beginning, she wasn't having it, right? So she was crying, didn't want to not use the shield. But then eventually, I would say after a week, she started breastfeeding without the shield. And my nipple also started coming out a little bit when she was feeding as well. And so what happened was, because she was breastfeeding on my left side, I was so happy that I did the latch again wrong. And at that point, I was like, I don't care, because I just want her to, start feeding off of my breast directly. I don't care if the latch is wrong. Big mistake, because then my left side started bleeding, getting bruised as well. Good news is, by this time, my right side had healed, so I could actually breastfeed from my right side. I'm still doing it to this day. And so she kind of prefers the right side now. I'm slightly lopsided. I'm trying to even it out, but I've gone through worse within the past couple of weeks. So I stopped using the shield, and because my left side started bleeding again, and I actually I got what you call a blister, a milk blister, or a milk bleed. And so what that is essentially, my understanding is your milk duct gets clogged. And so there's a little tissue on top of your nipple that will form. It's kind of like a blister. It looks a little yellowish, and it kills. Like, it's so painful when you're breastfeeding. It's, again, toe curling pain. So I talked to my lactation consultant, and she said, get a prescription from your doctor. You can get some cream to put on the nipple so it'll help with some of the pain. And so I talked to my doctor, and they gave me this cream. This is called mupirocin cream, USP 2%. So I put this on my nipple right after I was breastfeeding. I was a little hesitant because I wasn't sure if it was safe for the baby to actually eat it, right? Because she's breastfeeding, and I was putting this right on top of my nipple. But it was, they say, the doctor and also the lactation consultant said it's fine. But just in case, I would actually wipe my nipple right before I would breastfeed, because I didn't want some of that residue or the cream and my baby to have it. So, so picture this. I'm breastfeeding, ready to breastfeed. I'm wiping off the cream, and then right after I breastfeed, I put the cream on. Meanwhile, I'm still doing the saline solution, trying to dunk my nipple in the solution every 3 to 5 minutes. Still trying to do the lanolin cream and the Earth Mama cream. So this was like a whole process. Like I was doing this all day, right? And so the bleed, I would say, healed. I think it took another week or so. So this is actually this cream will help. It's antibacterial cream. So just in case bacteria gets in, you want to make sure that baby doesn't get that bacteria. And so I started using that. But then what happened while I was doing this on, using this cream on the left side, the lactation consultant and my doctor was telling me, you want to make sure that you air dry. So don't immediately put on your breast pads after you put on the cream. Put the cream on, air dry for a couple of minutes, and just make sure that you're not, you don't have anything on it for a while. And then also use disposable breast pads if you can on your left side, just to make sure that it's clean, etc. And so I mentioned in my previous video, breast milk doesn't just come out when you're breastfeeding. It comes out randomly during the day when you have a letdown, which is what people call, it's essentially your breast milk just coming out of your milk ducts in the middle of the day, anytime, random times. And so because of that, there was a lot of moisture that was building up on my left side because, I'm trying to air dry this cream, but meanwhile I have milk leaking from my left side. And so there was a lot of milk that was building up, or moisture, right under my boob, right? And I don't have big boobs in the first place. And I heard of some women getting this while they were pregnant because your boobs start getting bigger. But because there was so much moisture building up under the boob, I ended up getting a yeast infection. And so I was dealing with that. And so I went back to my doctor, and they told me to get this antifungal cream. I got this from Walgreens or Duane Reade in New York. It's called clotrimazole cream, USP 1%. So I started applying this. So this actually really helped right under my boob. It took about a week for the rash to go away. So that was really annoying because, again, while I was trying to do all this cream for my nipple and the bleed or the blister, I had another cream I needed to apply under my boob because of the yeast infection. And so this was all going on at the same time. Meanwhile, I had figured out, okay, it's probably not a good idea. Yes, I want to air dry, but I don't want to get all this moisture building up under my boob, right? Because, I was trying to make sure that it was dry, but you actually don't know or don't realize when your milk's coming out all the time. And so that's when I read up on this breast shell. And so it'll capture a lot of the moisture, so the milk won't, get all under your breast. And so essentially it'll capture all of the milk within this shell. And also this is good for women who have inverted nipples. So if you wear this, it applies a little bit of pressure, and so the nipple will actually come out. And so that was great. And so that's essentially the reason why I purchased this. I talked about this in my previous video, but I bought this online at Target. So I've been using this almost every day on both sides, actually, to capture the milk, which has been great too. And so all of that happened, I would say, within the first 8 weeks. So from when I had my baby to about month 2 or 8 weeks, this was ongoing, really challenging, really a lot of pain as well. And so, a lot of this I just, kind of stumbled upon, kind of realized, and had talked to my lactation consultant, some women that I know as well after the fact, right? But I just wanted to document this because I actually think it's kind of funny. A lot of women, and this is pretty common, I feel like a lot of women go through this. So I just wanted to share my journey as well. I'm still breastfeeding through all of that. So now, I still have some challenges, but now I'm at week 11. So about 2.5 months. It's been a challenge, but we're still working through it. So the problem I have now is, I was trying to breastfeed throughout this entire journey. So the problem now is that our baby is not taking a bottle. And so she refuses to take a bottle for my husband or anyone else. And so that's going to become a challenge when I try to go back to work because she has to take a bottle at daycare. And so there are different ways that you can try and get babies to drink milk without a bottle. So you either, there's some people who spoon feed breast milk, or you can put the milk in a syringe and put the syringe in the baby's mouth. But so we're trying all of these different nipples and bottles right now. We tried Dr. Brown, didn't work. Tried Philips Avent, didn't work. Tried Even Flow, didn't work. So right now we're on Tommy Tippy. I've heard great things. She's doing a little bit better, so we're gonna move forward a couple more times with Tommy Tippy. Como Tomo, I heard, is another brand that's very similar to the breast as well, so might try that one. So yeah, so hopefully this video was entertaining, informational. Penny, I hope you enjoy this. And again, it's been a learning journey for both my baby and I, so just wanted to document it. So if you like this video, remember to like it and subscribe as well. Thanks.